Hi students, this is Mrs. Kuntz and I'm going to show you how to get to and how to use this week's Gizmo assignment. It's Seasons, Earth's, Moon, and Sun. So in my class, you would go to modules. Mrs. Smack might have it set up a little differently, but go to modules, go to this week's module, and there's an activity called Wednesday, Seasons, Earth, Moon, and Sun Gizmo. And your screen should look something like this. Okay, today we will explore how the Earth, Moon, and Sun system interacts and creates the time units of day, month, and year. For this assignment, you're going to need your science notebook. I've got mine right here. We're going to be on page 23 and 24. You're going to need a pencil. You need to be logged into Gizmos. You won't need a class code because you've either given yourself your own login credentials or I did that for you, and we'll have to share that to you share it with you in the chat or through email. Notice you have 3 questions. The first one is you're going to take a picture of page 23 once you've completed it and send it to me. Question 2, you're going to take a photo of page 24 and send it to me. Question 3, you're going to match the astronomical event with a passage of time. Okay. So we go to Gizmos using this link here. And okay, this is what it will look like when you log into Gizmos. Again, you don't need a class code this time because when you go to login, you're just going to use your username and your password. So ignore all of this. That was just for the first time that you logged into Gizmos. Again, you were told to log in and use the same way that you log into the computer for school. And if you weren't able to do that in class, we hand registered you, and your teacher, either myself or Miss Mack, will have your username and your password for you. Okay, so then when I log in, mine looks a little different from yours because this is the teacher view, but you should be able to go and it will look something like this. Okay, so this is for my first period, but second and third, and then Miss Mack's 5th and 6th are all look very similar. Okay, so we go ahead and click on this gizmo. Now, what's really important for these gizmos is that you read your directions that are in your notebook while you're going through the lab on the computer. And I am going to model that for you. So you launch the gizmo, and you'll notice that there's a lot of different things you can change on here. I'll give it a second to load. My computer's being a little bit slow right now. Okay, there it is. So there's lots of different things to load on here or to control on here and change. Almost always there's a reset button on it, and for this gizmo, it's right here. So if you change something and you want to go back to just the beginning and set it back to how it started or the default settings, you can always do this reset. Okay, so I'm on page 23, and it says, first of all, there's some vocabulary, altitude, axes. Actually, some of these words, I'm not going to read these. Some of these words actually are part of the gizmo that we're not even going to go that far. So instead, let's look at prior knowledge questions. Do these before using the gizmo. Question 1, suppose you were stranded on a desert island without a calendar or a clock. How would you know when a day, a month, or a year had passed? So go ahead and write down what you think for the answer for that. And again, this is before you've done the gizmo. Question 2, how would you tell what time of year it was? How would you know what season we were in? Okay. And of course, you can pause this Screencastify video and answer questions. So I don't need to really wait for you because you can just pause it. Okay, so gizmo warm-up. Thousands of years ago, people told time by looking at the sky. You may not think about it, but you probably do this as well. For example, you know a day has passed when the sun rises, it grows light outside, and then sunsets again. In the Seasons, Earth, Moon, and Sun gizmo, you will learn how you can relate the passage of time to different astronomical events. An astronomical event is just something that is taking place out in space. Okay, so the first direction says drag the simulation speed slider all the way to the left. And if you look at it, this is the simulation speed. So we're going to drag it all the way to the left where it actually already was. Click play and observe the simulation panel. So we are on, I just clicked on this panel. We are on the simulation. So they want us to watch these two panels or these two pictures right here. Okay, so I'm going to click this play button. And we are making observations. What is moving? How fast are things moving? You know, the big orange thing is the sun, right? The moon is the smallest object that is half lit up and close to the earth. And then the earth is spinning on what we call its axes. And it looks like we have two different perspectives. The top perspective, which is kind of like we're looking down, and then that bottom strip is showing us the same thing from the side. Notice that there's a red dot on the earth, and that is just to keep track of how much the earth is spinning. So you can kind of keep track of one spin because the red dot goes all the way around once. All right, I'm going to pause it. Okay, I'm going to assume that this started on January 1st, and so we have gone by, 3 days have gone by-ish. It looks more like a little over 2 days. Okay. This is what happens. So go ahead and talk about what is spinning, what is moving. Question B, click on the 2D view tab. What do you see? So now we're going to click on a different tab. Oh, okay, so that's a different, now we're on Earth looking up into the sky. Oh, you can see the moon rose and then the sun is rising. It's setting in the west. It's nighttime when the sun goes away. The sun is not visible. Oh, and now it's daytime. Okay, let's pause that. So go ahead and answer, what did you see on the 2D view tab? Now we're going to click on the day graph tab. So here's graph, and we're on day. What do we see? Let's go ahead and play it again. Uh-oh. I wanted to stop it just a little bit quicker. Let me do that one more time and see if we can make sense out of this graph. Okay, so you can see that this is time, so it's a day because it's 24 hours. And this y-axis is showing you how much solar intensity, how hot is it, how sunny is it. And you can see that there's not any sun for a while, and then the sun gets more and more intense until noon. It reaches the most intense time of day, and then the sun intensity goes down in the afternoon and evening, and then at night it's back to 0 again. So go ahead and make an observation about the graph. And now we're going to click on shadows. So we're basically looking to see what happens from all these perspectives in a 24-hour time period. So what happens on this panel? And we're looking at a shadow of a stick at different perspectives. So there was no shadow at night, and the shadow looks like it gets longer during the day. Let's try that again. So we'll go through another day. So I'm going to watch the side view right here, and you can see there's no shadow at night. That makes sense. You need a light source to make a shadow. And you can see the shadow starts really long during the day. It gets short in the noon hours, and then it gets long at night again. So those are the types of observations we're making. So you should have page 23 finished now. You're certainly welcome to go back through and redo the Gizmo warm-up, and you're just making a simple observation. What do you see in those different panels? Okay, page 24. This is called the activity A, days, months, and years. So with these gizmos, it always tells you how to get it ready. And it says, get the gizmo ready. Click Reset. Select the 2D View tab. Question: what astronomical events coincide or happen at the same time with the passage of a day, month, or a year? We're going to click play and we're going to observe, this is question 1, observe how the position of the red dot in the simulation pane relates to the cycle of night and day on the 2D View tab. So we're trying to figure out what astronomical event causes day and night. Okay, so we're at 2D, we're watching the red, what are they called? The red dot. Observe how the position of the red dot in the simulation pane relates to the cycle of night and day on the 2V. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to watch and see what's happening with this red dot, what's happening here. Okay, and this is the astronomical event, and this is kind of the passage of time. So let's watch. So again, our time, you guys, is we're starting at basically New Year's, 12 in the morning on New Year's Day. So I'm watching that red dot, and I'm watching now it's facing the sun, and look what happened in your 2D view. Now it's going to go into the shadow of the sun, and it's nighttime. And then I'm going to stop it. And that was about 1 day. So what astronomical event causes day and night? So why was it dark and then light in our 2D? And as you can see, it was the spinning of the Earth. So as the Earth spins, the part of the Earth that is facing the sun will have daylight. And then when you're on the other side of Earth away from the sun, it's nighttime. Or if you read here, it says every time Earth finishes one rotation on its axis, so when it rotates or spins once on its axis, which is when that red dot goes all the way around once, a complete cycle of day and night occurs in the simulation pane. Earth's axis is represented by the red line that goes through the center of the planet. It's not really a red line. I'm not sure why they call that. It's a white line on here. It doesn't really exist, you guys. There's not really a stick poking out on either side of the Earth, but that's the point at which the Earth is spinning around. And do notice that it's pointing away from Earth. That's important when we start talking about seasons, or it's not. Sometimes it's pointing away from Earth and sometimes it's towards Earth. Okay. So you can pause that, make sure you catch up on question 1, that we're making the connection between the Earth spinning on its axis causing the phenomena or the passage of time of 1 day and 1 night. Okay, number 2, we're going to describe. Months are another unit of time based on an astronomical event. Click Reset and move the simulation speed slider to the right 1/4 of the way. So this would be about 1/2 of the way. So 1/4 would be about right here. So we're speeding it up a little bit. We're going to click play. First of all, you'll notice everything is going to go a little bit faster. And we're going to observe the movements of Earth and the moon for 1 month. So instead of watching that red dot, we're really going to watch the moon and what does it do in 1 month's time. So we're starting on January 1st. I'm going to try to pause it on February 1st. Let's see what happens to that moon during that time. What does it say? Okay, note, you can use the calendar in the upper right corner of the 2D view to determine when a month has passed. Okay, and that's what I just said. Okay, so let's go ahead and play this for a month. I will let it go and we're going to stop it right about on February 1st. Okay, so you can see everything's going faster. You can see day and night is still happening. You can see that the sun is spinning, the Earth is spinning, and it's hard to tell, but the moon is spinning as well. And you can see that the moon is traveling around the Earth. Let's see where it is on about February 1st, and it being the moon. Lots of days are going by. I'm also noticing that the Earth is, let's see, we're almost there. I'm going to go a little bit longer. Okay, now we're on February 1st. I'm also noticing that the Earth is starting to move. You can start telling that it's moving around the sun. Okay, so you can see that 1 month just took place in our calendar. And in that time, the moon just went around the Earth. once. Okay, so let's look at our question. Describe the movements of Earth and the moon over the course of a month. So you can certainly say that the Earth is moving around the sun and the moon has made one revolution or one orbit or one turn around Earth. What astronomical events corresponds to the passage of 1 month? So 1 month is when the moon has made one journey around the Earth. Okay, it takes approximately 28 days for the moon to revolve around the Earth. And you notice that, I don't know if you noticed, but January actually has more than 28 days. And so the moon is actually a little bit further than where we started on January 1st. Okay, revolution is the elliptical motion of a body traveling around another body in space. Okay, so one would say that the moon revolves around the Earth because it makes an orbit around the Earth. You can also say that the Earth revolves around the sun. It goes into a big path around the sun as well. Okay, now we've got question 3. Diagram. Click reset. Set the simulation speed to maximum. That means we're going to crank it all the way to the right, so things are going to move fast. Click play and observe the movement of Earth over the course of a year. In the diagram below, draw how the position of Earth changes. Okay, so again, we're on January 1st, so we are going to go all the way, whoops, I want this guy to stay there. We're going to go all the way to, what would that be, December 30th, right? 31st, I don't know, we're going to go all the way through the end of December. Okay, so now we're watching, not only are we watching the Earth spinning, making days, the moon revolving around the Earth, making months. How many times is that moon going to go around the Earth in the time it takes Earth to go around the sun? Which is the same as asking how many months are there in a year. Okay, and then we're going to watch to see what happens to this Earth as a year passes. Whoa, things are going fast. Oh, and it stopped for us. Okay, so, there's 31 days in December. Okay, so you can see that the Earth has gone almost completely around, or it went completely around the sun in a year. Okay, and in that time, you could redo this again and count how many times. We can do that though. Let's see. I'm going to slow it down just a teeny bit. I guess I have to reset it. And I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Let's count how many times the moon goes around the Earth in a year. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so the moon went around the Earth about 12 times in 1 year. So we have 12 months in our year. Okay, so it says on question 3, A, what astronomical event corresponds to the passage of 1 year? So the astronomical event would be the Earth revolving around the sun. B, how long does it take Earth to revolve around the sun? Well, it takes 1 year or 365 days. All right, and then you want to draw a diagram there in the box. And so I would show that the Earth, you want to go counterclockwise, right? The same way it goes on our computer simulator. Draw an arrow showing that the Earth is going around the sun in 1 year. Okay. Now I want to remind you guys to get credit for this assignment. You want to go back into Gizmos. You're going to take a picture of page 23. You're going to take a picture of 24. And you're going to match one rotation of the Earth on its axis. Is that a month, a day and night, or a year? One revolution of the moon around the Earth. Is it a month, day and night, or a year? One revolution of the Earth around the sun. Is that a month, day and night, or a year? Okay, you guys, that is it for this, and thank you for watching this.